Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for all the support I've gotten on the other Trickster Rogue tutorial videos, and today I have another one for you. I found a new spec I like to run. I think it's a little more fun, a little more survivability than the one I've showed in the previously two videos. Those are all just specs to, depending on your play style, you can use either one of those specs or you can use one of these specs. I'm going to break it down and show you the powers I mostly like to run. Sometimes it switches depending on if it's a boss or not, but I use Dazing Strike, which snap to the air, catch your opponent with crushing blow to their head. I also use Whirlwind of Blades, whip your daggers out around you, dealing minor damage but gaining power for each enemy you hit. Then I use Vengeance Pursuit, throw a dagger at the target, designate them for vengeance. While your vengeance hangs above them, they will reduce damage to all targets. If you do this while stealth, it doesn't break stealth, and you do a single target damage when hitting Vengeance Pursuit again, and it'll stun them. It's a single target attack and stun them for a short period of time. If you hit Vengeance Pursuit twice out of stealth, it does more of an AoE slash, which I'll show you. Disheartening Strike. Spotleaf throw dagger at the target's head, dealing damage over time and temporarily reducing the damage dealt to you. This power deals less damage in PvP. I also run Smoke Bomb. Drop a smoke bomb in front of you, dazing opponents while inside of it. Does a lot of AoE damage. Hateful Knives. Dashing towards your foe, you knock them prone with an upward strike and hurl 2 daggers in before you land. It leaves them shaken. It temporarily grants you allies combat advantage bonus, or combat advantage. Advantage position. After 2 seconds after leaving stealth, you maintain combat advantage and take 10% reduced damage from range attacks and Oppressive Darkness. When you have combat advantage, your at-wills and counter powers deal additional piercing damage to your target. So when I come out of stealth, I have advantage bonus where you do, every time you hit, it does piercing damage. Because if I come out of stealth and I have combat advantage, it procs this one where when I have combat advantage, I do piercing damage with my at-wills and counter powers, which you'll see. So if I do this, those little numbers right there are the piercing damage. Like if I do Vengeance Pursuit, you'll see it. Boom. It hit for 4504 and 618 was the piercing damage. That's those numbers there. I don't know why these guys are burning. It must be because of the fire or something on them. Not really sure what it is. So that's my powers and why I chose them. Especially the passives. These two passives work very well together. Using the Whisper Knife Paragon. So when we go to feats, these feats haven't changed from my other 3 videos. I got 5 in action advantage, 10% additional action points for dealing combat advantage damage. Weapon mastery, increased crit chance by 3%. Cunning Ambusher, 6%. Increase more damage for 6 seconds after leaving stealth, which we saw in my stat video. 6% damage is equal to 2400 power for 6 seconds after leaving stealth, which is really good. Then you have encounter power, deals 6% more damage. It was either these two you could go into, and I don't care for deflection, so I put 1 point into your stealth meter, regains 2% when you dodge roll, so it's not really that good. But here's important stuff. Increased amount of bonus damage strength gives you by 6%. So, when you have your character and you have your stats and you want to pick what you want to use, you put stuff into strength, you get an extra 6% of that. Whatever the strength stat gives you extra power, whatever that could be, you get extra 6%. And I also have, it was either this one, Improved Cunning, or this one. Okay, so then I put 2 points in here because I only have 2 points left to put somewhere. 6% for damage not targeting you, an extra 6% for your at-will power. So Scoundrel Training, not bad. Definitely just my normal setup here. This is where it starts to get interesting in these paragons. I was really curious of why no one likes to run Saboteur. I've had very many people come in and they tell me about the Executioner builds, which I have those videos on Executioner. I have an Executioner Saboteur build. I have my first video. I have an Executioner Scoundrel build in my second video. that I find to be a lot more, a little more DPS. So then I wanted to know why Saboteur, no one played that way, and I respect at least 3 or 4 times picking the stuff out that I thought worked the best for this build, and I'm going to show you why. And here we go. The whole point of Saboteur is to do damage in stealth because of this move here. 1 with the shadows. Every 15 seconds you gain 1 with the shadows effect. 1 with the shadows. The next time you deal damage with an encounter power, your stealth meter is refilled. For 10 seconds after, your encounter powers deal 20% more damage. So, that's to help refill your stealth meter. If you saw my other videos, this one is your stealth regenerates 20% quicker and you don't get interrupted when you're taking damage. So it's a way of getting your stealth back, which is 1 with the shadows. And the whole point of Saboteur is to stay in stealth. So when I think about it, you know, it says add 1 powers when your stealth meter isn't full, but I'm going to go backwards to show you a few things, actually. This one, not this one. Well, right here, while in stealth, you deal up to 25% more damage. The bonus diminishes your stealth meter drain. So you go into stealth, the first couple things you do is, you know, to do 25% more damage, which is really cool. This is very, very important. While behind your target, dealing damage with encounter powers refills 20% of your stealth meter. So if the whole point of trying to get and stay in stealth, you want to do things that increase your stealth meter, regen, or whatnot. And that's encounter powering behind the target, which in turn, I like these ones. So entering the stealth reduces all your cooldowns by 10%. That is like having an extra 2,000 recovery. It's like saying it's like an extra 2,000 recovery, but it says all your cooldowns, so it could be, you know, it's basically all your encounter powers. Basically, it's all your encounter powers. So it doesn't include your stealth, or I'm pretty sure not your action points. So you enter stealth, your encounter powers are reduced by 10%, the cooldowns on it. I use Nice Edge because when you use your daily, it's another 15% reduction on your cooldowns. Because what you're really trying to do it all the time is to go into stealth. When you come out, you're trying to use encounter powers behind the target to go back into stealth. Now, encounter powers, all of them have, most of them, I would say 80% of them have a cooldown. So you're going to try to want to have things to reduce that cooldown, like this, this, and this. Reduce the cooldown of your counter powers to reduce basically how long you're out of stealth. You're trying to get that stealth meter up. So these 3 things all work very well synergetically. Here, 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 and also here. The whole reason why this move gives you an extra 20% encounter power damage is because you want to use shorter cooldown encounter powers. Because if you run around with something like Lashing Blade and something else has a long ass cooldown, like there's some that have really, really long ones. Like Lashing Blade's the longest. Maybe even Dazing Strike has a little bit of a long one, but Lashing Blade's the main one. If you use up your encounter powers and you're using things like Lashing Blade, it's really, really bad because you won't really have the chance to go back into stealth because you don't have what Shadow Demise gives you, where you can regenerate quicker and you don't have stealth interruption and taking damage. When you're out of stealth using the Saboteur Paragon, you don't you lose your stealth very, very fast. You can't even actually get it, and if you don't have any encounter powers up, you're literally waiting a long time to wait for 1 with the shadows to proc for you, and then you can go back into stealth, start doing your rotation again. So you really want shorter encounter power cooldowns. Well, usually the shorter the encounter power cooldown, the less damage it does, which is the whole reason why they give you an extra 20% more damage. So you can use the encounter powers that don't do as much damage and still be doing a good amount of damage. That's the whole point of that. So when we get here, you can see I put 5 out of these 2, 5 out of these 2. Here, when you see Blood-Soaked Blades, which I've used in the past, it says someone that you recently touched, damage dies. Your attacks deal 50% of your weapon damage as bonus physical damage. And in my other videos, I showed that Weapon damage is this number here where it says 738 to 902. If I had them, I could show you, but right under artifact weapon, it says rank 42, progress next rank. Right underneath that, 738 to 902 is your damage. That is weapon damage. Now, it is increased by your power. Your power increases it by 43%. It says right there. It contributes to damage bonus, 43% damage bonus. So, if you take, it's a 902 or so weapon damage times 1.43, you're going to come out with like 1200 and some odd change. So your weapon damage is actually 1200. So when you look at these feats right here, all your attacks deal 50% of weapon damage, which your weapon damage is 1200. So the 50% of that would be 600 as bonus physical damage. Well, most mobs and such have armor or defense and things like that nature. So it never actually hits for 6. It's more like 4. So you kill someone, you get an extra 400 damage per weapon swing. It takes a long time before it actually makes a big difference in damage output. It can, but it's very, very minuscule, and it's something that takes a while to actually gain. It actually makes a difference. So since you're usually behind the target, like in boss fights and such, I have this one instead. Attacks from behind your target have 5% increased critical strike. 5% crit is like, if you watch my other videos, that's like having an extra 2,000 critical strike stat points when you're just standing behind, so an extra 2k. So that's quite a bit just for some, it's either 400, 600, like 500 damage per swing, or an extra 2,000 crit chance point, like stat points. So I mean, when you look at it that way, I'd rather go with this, because you're not, if I showed you my other, like I said, my other videos, when you're in stealth, for whatever reason, when you're in stealth, you have 100% crit chance. All the numbers are critting while you're in stealth. So you might think this is, no, you don't really need to get that, because you're going to always be in stealth and critting, but there are going to be chances where you're not in stealth, and that's when it makes a difference for power output, where you want your encounter powers to deal more damage because you're going to be behind them because of this, and you want those to crit for damage, and so on and so forth. Plus, the extra 20% when one of the shadows procs, and it lasts for 10 seconds. Your encounter power deals 20% more damage, which is a long time. So you want them to crit if you're behind the target and such. Now, I went into Executioner because when you're in stealth, you do per 15% crit severity is increased. Now, I did the math. The only choice is to go into Scoundrel, or you go into Executioner. Well, if you go into Scoundrel, you're going to get, this is the only reason why I would go, is just so your Hateful Knives refills your stealth meter, because I use Hateful Knives. And for 8 seconds afterward, when you deal damage to target, you regain 5% of your stealth meter. But, there might be a build where I actually take these off and use Bloody Brawler and Seething Knives and crit severity. But the whole point of going to Scoundrel is for back alley tactics, where when your action points are empty, you do 25% more damage. The bonus diminishes as you gain action points. So I have all the boons unlocked in most of in all the campaigns 100%, and you gain action points really, really, really fast. So that damage bonus diminishes very, very quickly. Now, if this was a straight across the board 25% more damage, you're looking at like 10,000, or I mean, what is it? 100 for, yeah, it's 10,000 power. It's an extra 10,000 power. Yeah, that's like saying you have an extra 10,000 power when your action points are below 0 because of damage bonus. 400 power equals 1%, so 10,000 power equals 25% damage. So anyway, this initially over this right here is more damage initially, but as it starts to diminish, which is very, very fast, this becomes better. So you can either have it hit a little bit better right in the start, but diminishes over time as your action points gain. And then or you can have it at all times. And for me, after I respec a few times and tested it out, this has come out as seemed to be way better because the damage is consistent. So since I went with this Paragon to get this, I went and got this, which is when you deal damage, your target takes 5% more damage from you for 6 seconds. Again, 5% damage is like 2,000 power. So you just touch someone, it's like doing extra 2,000 power against them. Like they just get vicious pursuit on them. It's definitely helpful. All your moves have an extra 2,000 power on it. So then, when you come here, you could have gotten this. You deal 20% more damage to foes below 30% health. I like Dying Breath just because it increases crit severity. There's nothing out there that increases crit severity except for Feats, Vorpal Enchant, and boons. So, with that said, if there's something in the Feats or boons that gives you crit severity, or even the Vorpal Enchant on your weapon, it's best to get it because you have you kind of 100% crit while you're in stealth anyway, and some nearby foe dies, your damage is just through the roof. Extra 25% here, like at all times. That's in stealth, out stealth, whatever, and increases your run speed, which I think I don't stack movement gems. I tend to move really, really slow, it seems like. So that is that. We're gonna go. I'm actually, since I'm out in the stronghold as opposed to my other videos, I'm gonna show you my rotation here first, and then we're gonna go kill mobs and show you how well it works out there. But what you want to do is, since I have one with the shadows procced up at the top, you can see it right there, one with the shadows. Next time you deal damage, the counter power reveals your stealth meter and gain 20% of your increased encounter damage for 10 seconds. So you don't want to open up with an encounter power. You want to stealth up to the target and start at willing. Once you come out of stealth, all the mobs are going to come to you right away. All the melee mobs are going to run really close to you. So this is what you do. Let's see if I have run with the whatever again. I'm not really sure if I do or do not. Let's wait for it. I'll show you the rotation. Because what you're going to do is you're going to stealth at will. You're going to come out of stealth. You're going to drop a smoke. When that smoke damage ticks, you're going to get one with the shadows, which increases your stealth bar instantly, increases your counter power damage by 20% for 10 seconds. You're going to go back into stealth and start slashing around some more. But that is first. I'm going to show you it right now. For like single target, you're going to stealth, slash, come out of stealth, smoke bomb, slash, stealth because of one with the shadows. You come out, dazing strike. Now if you're behind the target, that should refill your stealth meter, and if it doesn't, you Vengeance Pursuit in the back, you're back into stealth again. Do it again. That smoke bomb, one with the shadows proc, you saw it tick, stealth again, go back in stealth, hold it down, dazing strike, one with the shadows. One with return to the shadows is like again, this one right here. While behind your target, you deal damage to counter powers, refills 20% of your stealth meter. So you would do Dazing Strike. At that point in time, if you saw, it's Vengeance Pursuit after that. Vengeance Pursuit really, really fills up the bar quick because of when you're out of stealth, it does like an AoE attack, and behind the target, it hits a lot. So when you have one with the shadows, Dazing Strike or Vengeance Pursuit, AoE does a lot of damage. We're going to do the whole rotation here. Stealth, slashing, you're behind the target, smoke bomb. Watch it proc, stealth, slash, 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 dazing strike, vengeance pursuit, stealth, daily, smoke bomb, dazing strike. Now this is like you're barely out of stealth for a little bit. Got my stealth back. And go back into it. Dun, 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 dun. And now here we are, dazing strike. Return to the shadows, and at this point in time is where you don't have any cooldowns and such, but it doesn't take long for them to come back because you're constantly going into stealth, reduces the cooldown by 10%. Your action point gain is huge. Look at the action point gain. I'm already at 30% just from slashing. That increases your cooldowns by 15% while slashing and such. That is for single target. Now you can switch some of these powers if you really felt like it. Sometimes I go, when I'm fighting Demogorgon, I switch from Vengeance Pursuit to Death Strike because of how much running around you do. This ports you to the back of your target. It helps a lot, like if you're, fighting the boss, you're doing your rotation, you'd go like this, and okay, then you got to go to the well, and because it manages something, so you go in there, you want to come back quickly, you can port right over, right behind the target, and start slashing. Plus, when you go behind the target, you proc this again, so Death Strike puts you right behind the target, and it's supposed to proc Return of Shadows, which I'm not sure if it did because I wasn't in stealth, but it's supposed to, because it puts you right behind the target. You can Death Strike into some of your other encounter powers if you wanted. We're going to try it right now. Okay, we're waiting. We rolled away. No, wait, let's stealth real quick. We're doing this and that. We have to come back over here. Death Strike. It's because I had one with the shadows, so let's just use up some of this stuff. Really just trying to use up this junk to see if it works. There we go. Okay, now we're going to roll away. Death Strike back. It did not, it didn't, look, it's supposed to, but it's supposed to put you behind, and it's supposed to do it. I'm not really sure if it does, but is it definitely, I didn't see it proc at all, and I never, it works against mobs because every time you do it, they turn right around. So Death Strike, but it's definitely a good way to get back into the fight where you can just quickly come back, and you're right behind the target, so you can just start encounter power and get Return of Shadows right away. Also, Smoke Bomb does not proc Return of Shadows, and it looks like Death Strike doesn't either. So those might be things you might want to consider when thinking about which powers to use. There's also things like Wicked Reminder has 3 charges. You can literally sit there and spam Wicked Strike, and you will get your stealth back very, very, very fast. Here we're doing the rotation right now. I came out this. See, now I'm in stealth again. You can do it again. You can stealth again. Smoke bombs up. This, then we're gonna do it again. Soup, right, daily. Then we're gonna do this again. This is very, very, very fast. Yeah. Look, I'm back. I'm already back into stealth again. Back into stealth again. Daily strike. There we go. There we go. Back into stealth again. This way actually does it very, very, very fast. See? It's like very, very, very fast using Wicked Reminder. It hits for 18k, which isn't bad at all. So, alright, so that is, also Wicked Reminder reduces defenses, so it's not a bad move at all. That hit for 20k, which is great. Probably something I'm going to start using. I'll start switching out Vengeance Pursuit for Wicked Reminder. You can also switch, you can put Vengeance Pursuit of Dazing Strike, except, like I said, I replaced Wicked Reminder with Vengeance Pursuit. The only thing is, when I put Wicked Reminder in place of Dazing Strike, you actually almost never use Smoke Bomb, and you absolutely never use Vengeance Pursuit. Because Vengeance Pursuit, doing the 2 moves in Vengeance Pursuit actually takes a long time. The animation is kind of long. Look. It's very, very long. So when you almost never use it, it's a waste of a spot. I would put Wicked Reminder in that area if I was doing a boss fight. You can do Wicked Reminder, Dazing Strike, and Smoke Bomb. The Smoke Bomb is a lot of damage. Dazing Strike is good for a stun, AoE stun. Because nobody said that you have to actually use the stealth in that way. I mean, I'm going to show you right now how I use it against mobs before we end the video when I'm out questing, and you'll see my rotation. Because what I do is I'll smoke. When the second time I go back into stealth right away, I do Dazing Strike, because you're going to see them all converge on me, and that's when you want to Dazing Strike all of them. Plus you have one with the shadows damage increase. So stealth, slash, smoke, wait a second, stealth, I have it, they're all near each other, Dazing Strike, and then everyone's dead. If you saw, I stealthed, I used the smoke, which I came out of stealth, so all the melee came toward me. They're all dying by the smoke. It procs one with the shadow, stealth bar increase, and now encounter power increased by 20%. You go back into stealth and automatically dazing strike right away. You get full benefit of that. One with the shadows. The dazing strike does a lot of damage. That's for group pulls. I can show you one more time. This is my group pull rotation. If people tend to be alive, you start doing Vengeance Pursuit, AoEs, and stuff like that. Let's do it again. Stealth, slash, smoke bomb, slash, wait for it to proc, waiting for it to proc. Didn't proc, there it is. I only stunned one person, but it's no big deal. They died anyway. All these guys died. So that's it. I showed you firsthand the rotation on some mobs. It does a lot of damage. The survivability is a lot higher, I believe, than Executioner. The DPS wise, it's very good. I can find it to be just as comparable to Executioner build. The only thing I would say about Saboteur is that it has more open room for what powers you want to use. I'm pretty sure with Master Infiltrator is just a beast. I guarantee it. I just like Whisper Knife better, so this is my Whisper Knife Saboteur Executioner build. Thank you so much. Hopefully they answered, if you're looking for another build that is just great for survivability, AoE damage, the smoke does a lot of damage, and the powers I use and such. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.